Now give the floor to the representative of Sri Lanka.
Mr. Chair, as a developing country, Sri Lanka places great hope and confidence in this forum, believing that it is the right place to address the financial challenges that countries face, such as Sri Lanka. The COVID-19 pandemic has left developing countries scrambling to make ends meet. Many countries are at risk of unbearable debt burden as a result of the pandemic, which has limited their fiscal space and impeded economic growth. The escalation of global tensions has exacerbated all these issues even more. There is a great financial divide in which developed countries were able to fund their pandemic recovery with record sums borrowed at ultra-low interest rates, while developing countries spent billions servicing debt, making it impossible for them from investing in sustainable development. Mr. Chairman, when developing countries place their investments with multilateral financial corporations, the interest we are offered is dismally low. However, when we are granted loans, they are granted at very high rates of interest. The rating companies, it dismays us. The rating companies continue to rate us as if though the world was perfectly normal, thereby making it difficult to borrow from financial institutions as the lending rates are naturally high. Our plea for debt moratorium from our international lenders falls on deaf ears. It is against this backdrop that we are required to build back better without leaving anyone behind. Is that surely a possibility, Mr. Chairman? Should not we then, I ask the question, whether the developed countries to rally round the developing countries and help in the recovery effort? The answer without doubt must be in the affirmative. The global vaccination gap, climate change, and the funding gap are all global issues that require global solutions. To finance the recovery and rebuild better, urgent action and innovative solutions are needed in line with the 2030 Agenda, the Addis Ababa Action Agenda, and the Paris Climate Agreements. The crisis provides a strategic opportunity, they say, to build stronger and to align all financing flows, investment, and debt relief with sustainable development. I am beginning to doubt that whole cliche. How can that be so when we are bleeding, our economies are bleeding? This should result in a more equitable, greener, and resilient global economy that leaves no one behind and safeguards lives and livelihoods. That's another comforting thought. But I say that they are just becoming dreams, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, Sri Lanka's economy continued to be buffeted by the pandemic, which was made worse by global tensions. Supply chain disruptions and rising inflation have damaged the domestic economy, lowering manufacturing production, while serious weaknesses in global food security have harmed growth prospects and contributed to increased divergence in the recovery effort. By the beginning of April 22, 66% of Sri Lanka's population had been fully vaccinated, and that cost us $250 million US. And most mobility restrictions have been eased. So, Mr. Chairman, that is the predicament that Sri Lanka, like many other developing countries, are placed in. I ask you, in the name of God Almighty, that developed countries come to the rescue of us developing nations.
Agradezco al representante.
I thank the representative of Sri Lanka